many small businesses in America can be sold for 5 to 10 times earnings or EBITDA. Now, some businesses will be sold at a lower multiple, some will be sold at a higher multiple, but in a general range, you'll see many businesses in America sell between 5 to 10 times earnings. That means if your business makes a profit, you can take that profit number, multiply it by a multiple, and that can be what your business is worth. Now, there are a lot of stipulations for this because when people buy a business, they want it to be scalable. They don't want it to rely on you, because if the business relies on you as a person to be there, then the business really isn't worth that much, because if you died or if you stopped working there, the business will go down to zero. So this has to be a real business that you can build or that you can scale in a way that you can move away from the business. This doesn't mean it's impossible or that it's harder. It just means that you have to think a little bit differently and build the business processes a little bit differently. But now let's go through the numbers. If now you run a business that makes $100,000 a year in revenue, then you take off your expenses, which let's assume are $50,000. That leaves you with $50,000 of earnings or profit. Now you can take this $50,000, multiply it by 5, which would be $250,000, or multiply it by 10, which would be $500,000. And now this gives you a general range of what your business might be worth if you sold it. Your business in this case might be worth $250,000 to $500,000 if you sold the business, even though you're only making $50,000 worth of profit or $100,000 of revenue. So now, if you want to build $1 million business, let's do the numbers. We can work backwards now. At a 10 times multiple, that means your business has to have earnings of $100,000 to be worth $1 million, because $100,000 times 10 is $1 million. And at a 5 times multiple, that means your business has to net $200,000 of earnings, EBITDA, profit, whatever you want to call it. Multiply this by 5, now this is worth $1 million. Now, you can work even more backwards. If this is the profit that you have to have, now you have to take the revenue minus the expenses, which has to equal this number. How much revenue do you need to make $100,000 or $200,000 a year? Maybe it's $200,000 of revenue in this number. Maybe it's $500,000. Maybe it's $1 million worth of revenue, depending on what the business does. But now, at least you have a clear target of what type of numbers you need in your business. That way now you can scale the revenue, you can manage the expenses, and have a profit, multiply the profit by multiple, and now you have this $1 million business. Now, when you have this $1 million business, you have the option to do 3 things. Number 1 is you continue operating the business and you have the salary and you retain the ownership. You own $1 million business. Option number 2 is you can sell the business. Now, another buyer can come in, they'll buy your business for $1 million or whatever it's worth, and now you get your $1 million, and now you can go and stay on a beach or do whatever it is that you want to do. Or option number 3 is you can take a loan out against your business. Now, of course, this has risks associated with it. And so if you do this, you want to make sure you do it smartly. But now what you're doing is you have a business that's worth $1 million. And you go to the bank and you say, hey, bank, I have this business that's worth $1 million because I have this much earnings. And so I think I'm worth $1 million. I want to take a loan out against my business. It's kind of like taking a loan out against a property that you own that's worth $1 million. Now, it's kind of like a cash out refinance. So you want to be very smart here, because you definitely do not want to choke your business because of debt that you're taking out for your personal life. So again, I'm going to very much caution you here, if you do this, that there's a lot of risk associated with it. But now you can go to the bank and say, you know what? I want to take out a $300,000 loan. Now, you take out this $300,000 loan tax-free, because a loan, a cash out refinance, isn't income. So this $300,000 now comes into your pocket. You can spend this money however you want. Now you have the $300,000 that you can use to live your life, and you're going to pay this $300,000 back from the income from your business. Now, ideally, you're going to continue to work to grow this business. That way, now this is going to go from $1 million to $2 million valuation, more incomes, more profits, more money to pay down the debt. But now you have this money while you still own the business, and you can spend this money tax-free. This is what you see Elon Musk do. He's made this very popular because he talked about how he didn't receive a salary when he was running Tesla. But this is where now, once you build the business, you have a lot of opportunities of what you want to do with the business. But the whole idea here is, if you want to make $1 million or be a millionaire, you don't have to go out and necessarily just earn that money. You don't have to necessarily save that money. You can own your way there. Obviously, if you don't want to build a business, you can do that by investing your money, invest it into stocks, invest it into real estate. There's a lot of different ways to do that. I have other videos on my channel where I talk about that. Or you can build a business that's worth $1 million. When you own a business that's worth $1 million, you can sell it for the $1 million. You can just own it and own $1 million company. Or you can refinance out against it and then take out some cash against your business and then use that cash to live off of. But that does come with the most risk. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you gotta do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.